And now agenda. Today's agenda is about Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's discussion with members of the Council on Ethiopia's quest for success, peace and security with neighboring countries, mainly with Eritrea, and about the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Take a look.
ዲፕሎማሲ በሚመለከት እንደተባለው ዓለም ኢተገማች በሆነ መንገድ ነው እየተጓዘ ያለው።
Regarding diplomacy, as mentioned, the world is moving in unprecedented ways. There are no certainties. In the morning, there could be war. By afternoon, reconciliation. And then war again the next day. In such times, a country like ours, a poor nation, must treat carefully. First, we have friends, and we must protect those friends. Second, there are those who dislike us, and we must also manage them wisely. So, how should we navigate? We must move like the porcupine. The porcupines struggles in winter. The cold bites them highly. They have to come closer to each other in order to gain some heat. This is how they could escape the cold. The problem is that it could also be dangerous for them if they get closer too quickly. Their thorns will wound each of them. But if it stays too far, the cold persists. On the other hand, they all have a dangerous thorn which will cause damage. So how do they survive winter without freezing or harming themselves? It's by finding the right balance, moving slowly until the cold eases. Our diplomacy must be the same. We must avoid war, avoiding freezing or isolation, and maintain balance as we move forward. There is no need to shout just because others are shouting. At the same time, we must actively monitor global developments. Within that, we must safeguard our national interests while deepening relations with our allies. Moving cautiously, without losing our footing, is a difficult task.
ናሽናል ጥቅም በሚያስከብር መንገድ ወዳጆቻችን ጋር ያለ ነገር በሚያዘልቅ መንገድ በጥንቃቄ አማካይ ስፍራችንን ሳንለቅ መጓዝ አለብን ከባድ ስለሆነ የኛን ጎረቤቶች በሚመለከት ከጎረቤት ውጭ ኢትዮጵያ ህልውና የላትም ከኢትዮጵያ ውጭ ደግሞ እነሱ ህልውና የላቸው
Regarding our neighbors, without our neighbors, Ethiopia has no existence. Without Ethiopia, they too have no existence. We are critically important to each other. Honorable Council, you should know this. The border issue is an inherited problem. When we inherited Ethiopia, its borders were not demarcated. Border issues are contentious with all neighboring countries, contentious with Sudan, contentious with Eritrea. Borders remain undecided. Our trade system lacks legal and regulatory frameworks. There are no proper agreements. It's contraband trade. This, like any inherited debt, is a burden passed down to us. Instead of clear borders and defined relations, we inherited unresolved, lingering issues. This is why there is ongoing tension. Our belief is like green legacy, like planting trees. Today, we plant seedlings here, but I don't expect to find a tree in 3 months. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, if the seed is good and the soil is fertile, within time, it will grow into a tree. The relationship between us and our neighboring countries is exactly like this. We must plant good seeds. Quest for sea access. For example, the Red Sea. We must engage in dialogue. We must discuss it peacefully through trade systems. We must plant. It's a good seed. And with time, it will grow into a tree. We will not achieve this through conflict or using force. That would be unwise. It will not happen that way. It must be done peacefully through dialogue because it benefits all. It serves the interests of all. If Ethiopia loses peace, neighboring countries will suffer no less than Ethiopia. The reason is that most of the economy is interconnected. For example, nearly half of what's called the black market is operated by citizens of neighboring countries. This economic sector carries significant weight, so they would be affected. Just as we must avoid harming them or ensure our own stability, we must also respect their interests and sovereignty. For example, Eritrea is a sovereign nation. We absolutely do not want it to become part of Ethiopia. It has the right to exist as a country. We have no other agenda. Djibouti is a sovereign nation. It must be respected. Somalia is a sovereign nation. It must be respected. We have no claims. Ethiopia is a sovereign nation, but without sea access, it cannot fully function as a country. This legitimate need of Ethiopia must be respected by neighboring nations. Coexistence requires give and take. Will sea access come through financial means, through land swaps or territorial exchanges? This requires dialogue. It must be resolved through negotiation.
አብሮ ለመኖር ያለው ነገር ሰጥቶ መቀበል ነው። ይሄ ባህር ይመጣው በገንዘብ ነው። ይሄ ባህር ይመጣው በላንድ ስዋፕ ነው። በምንድነው? ንግግር ያስፈልጋል። በንግግር መሆን አለበት። ይሄ ሲሆን የተከበረው ምክር ቤት መገንዘብ ያለበት ነገር
Here is what the Honorable Council must understand. If you drop a handful of sand into a small glass of water, the impact is immediately visible because both the glass and the water volume are small. But if you drop the same sand into Lake Tana, no noticeable change occurs. This is what our neighbors must grasp. They must distinguish between a puddle and a lake. Ethiopia will not be shaken by small disturbances. Ethiopia is an ocean, a vast nation. This must be understood. Thinking they can destabilize us simply because they wish to is a miscalculation. Ethiopia can defend itself and prosper despite obstacles because it's a major nation, it's a big nation. Turmoil affects puddles, not lakes. These truths must be internalized and acted upon. Ethiopia is a nation of 130 million people. Comparatively, it's an immensely resource-rich country. Its sheer size and strength make rivalry with neighbors unthinkable. It has a modernized military, advanced technology. Conflict is not a viable option for anyone. Yet, we must all remember, war is evil. For example, there are frequent rumors spreading, especially about potential conflict erupting along the Eritrean border. Honorable Council, let me state with certainty, we will not fire a single shot or initiate war from our side. Why? Because we have far more pressing priorities. We have major development projects underway, and we chose to focus on building, not destruction. We do not want war. The people of Eritrea are our brothers. The people of Somalia are our brothers. The people of Sudan are our brothers. We seek shared progress. We seek to be united. However, while we demand respect for our sovereignty and peace, the same must be reciprocated by our neighbors. This is non-negotiable. Our goal is to maintain and strengthen the largely peaceful relations we have upheld with all neighbors. In the past 7 years, we have entered no wars with any neighboring nation. And moving forward, war will never be our choice. Cooperation, peace, dialogue and negotiation, these are our only tools.
ውጊያን ምርጥ ትብብር፣ ሰላም፣ ንግግር፣ ውይይት ብቻ ነው የምንፈልገው። ህዳሴ ለኛ ብቻ አይደለም ለሁሉ ነው ያለቀው።
The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, does not benefit Ethiopia alone. Its construction and completion serve a great purpose. We want to supply electricity to Eritrea. We want to supply electricity to Sudan. We want to supply electricity to Somalia. We seek shared prosperity. I hope this vision resonates with all. On our part, we are forging ahead, bringing development, driving growth, to ensure this progress is not disrupted or undermined. We desire peaceful coexistence with all our brothers. However, if any issue threatens peaceful coexistence, we will defend ourselves. And let me be clear, Ethiopia has no reason for concern on this front. Honorable Council, know this with certainty. Ethiopia will not be shaken. It has more than enough capacity to defend herself. Ethiopia will prevail. The strength to overcome is within her. Ethiopia will endure. She possesses all that's needed to stand firm. Ethiopia has had enemies in the past, and enemies remain today. Yet we continue advancing right before their eyes. Thank you.
ኢትዮጵያ ጠላቶች ነበሯት አሏት አይናቸው እያየ ግን እናንሰራራለን። ህዳሴን እንዳይመረቅ ለማድረግ የሚያስችል ነገር አሁን የለም።
On the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is complete. We are now celebrating its success. There were those who hoped to stop the GERD before its completion, but we have prevailed. Nothing can now prevent its finalization, which will happen soon. With the end of this rainy season, the dam will be fully operational. To the downstream nations, my message is clear. The GERD is a blessing for both Sudan and Egypt. It will not cause them any harm. Ethiopia's development is their development. Ethiopia's energy will benefit all neighboring countries. Had our dam truly threatened downstream nations, the Lake Turkana agenda would have been relevant. Let us remember, when the Gibe 3 dam was built, there were fears Lake Turkana would dry up. Yet after completion, the lake's water levels have actually increased. Similarly, if you visit Egypt today, not a single liter of water has been lost from the Aswan Dam. Not one. Going forward, as long as Ethiopia exists, as long as Ethiopia prospers, we will never stand by and watch our Egyptian brothers suffer. We seek shared growth with our neighbors. We have no ill intention. We do not want to harm Egypt or Sudan. We will share the energy. We will share the water. We will achieve shared development. And if discussions are needed, we are ready to negotiate without issues.
ኢነርጂውን በጋራ እንጠቀማለን፣ ውሃውን በጋራ እንጠቀማለን፣ ልማት በጋራ ይመጣል። ንግግር ካስፈለገ ምን እንነጋገራለን፣ ችግር የለም። እኛ ለረጅም ጊዜ ስናነሳ የነበረው አትስሩ አትበሉን ነው እንጂ ያልነው።
What we have long stood against is don't build, don't eat. What we say now is don't interfere with a project built in our land with our money. As long as no one obstructs us, Ethiopia remains fully prepared to engage, cooperate, and work with Egypt. We have no problem doing so. However, I state with certainty that the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, the GERD, will not cause any harm to Egypt or Sudan. Since this esteemed council represents the highest authority in Ethiopia, I would like to extend an invitation through you to the governments of Egypt, Sudan and all downstream nations as we prepare to celebrate the completion of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam with the upcoming autumn rains. I invite them to join us in this moment of joy.
በተከበረው ምክር ቤት ፊት ግብዣ አቀርብላቸዋለሁ። የጋራ ሀብታችን ነው፣ በጋራ እናስመርቀዋለን።
This is our shared resource. We will complete it together and benefit from it together. If there is any concern or issues requiring discussion, we will address them collectively through dialogue. Regarding drought-related concerns raised by Egypt, drought, when it occurs, affects Ethiopia first, not Egypt. If Ethiopia faces drought, there will be no water to release downstream. Through our Green Legacy initiative, we are ensuring Ethiopia does not suffer drought. If we have rain, Ethiopia, Egypt, Sudan, and all downstream nations will benefit. Therefore, I urge us to work together in good faith.
እና በቅንነት አይተን በጋራ ለልማት እንድንሰራ አደራ ማለት ፈልጋለሁ።
Viewers, this brings us to the end of our program. Have a nice time.